Welcome, true believers, from the far ends of each galaxy. I'm about to take you on a magnificent journey to many distant planets to face the forces of evil that will achieve multi-galactic conquest. Actually, I don't have the power to do something like that. But what I do have the power to do is review games. Yes, folks, it's me, RRPG, and I am back with another stellar video review that everyone will enjoy. And I want to start off things again fresh with something that everyone can enjoy and relate to. But first things first, I want to talk about one of my favorite video game characters of all time, with a little history and retrospective of it. Starting off in the arcades back in 1981, Mario would be known as Jumpman at the time, and it was the beginning of a legacy to his rise of fame with the arcade classic Donkey Kong. In 1983, a spiritual sequel called Mario Bros. Arcade made its jump, and it was the first to star both Mario and Luigi in one game together. By 1985, the evolution of the Mario Bros. Franchise was just as Super Mario Bros. Was the first game in the platforming adventure genre. Instead of Mario saving a hot Brooklyn babe from a huge ape, you had to save a princess from an evil reptilian race of Koopas from its leader named Bowser, a staple that continued on in the main series. It was a very fun game, and it is still very addicting to this day. A sequel was made in 1986 called Super Mario Bros. 2, and it followed the same formula of the first game the year before. However, the United States and Europe did not get it right away, because the game was way too difficult. Instead, they gave us a game called Doki Doki Panic that had Mario and Company's grill slapped on top, and called that Super Mario Bros. 2. But we managed to get the real game that was packaged in the 16-bit remake compilation, Super Mario All-Stars, and it was subtitled The Lost Levels. In 1990, the franchise would receive a facelift and become possibly the greatest entry in the Mario series. Super Mario Bros. 3 was the first game to adapt various world maps, new power-ups, and the introduction of the Koopalings. The level designs were genius, and the core gameplay was all there. There you have it, the best NES game of all time. By 1991, the 16-bit era hit across the globe, and came the next big entry, Super Mario World. It goes back to the same formula as Mario 3, but with new innovations like a spin jump, a new feather cape power-up, branching paths on the world map, and having Yoshi as a playable steed. It was fun, but I have to agree with Miyamoto that the game felt a little too unpolished, as the physics and movement were a little slippery. For another 5 years, we would not see another Mario game on the consoles until the days of the Nintendo 64. It was then that 32-bit and 64-bit were clashing at each other, and Nintendo started strong with Super Mario 64. It was the first 3D Mario game to come, and it was really revolutionary. It was the first game to adapt a non-linear style of gameplay that helped you work your way up to fighting Bowser at the end. Instead of completing stages and immediately moving on to the newer ones, you had to collect power stars in order to advance. You had new mechanics like melee attacks, the triple jump, sideways jump, backflip, long jump, and an assortment of new power-ups such as the wing cap, the metal cap, and the invincibility cap. It was all fun, and Mario seemed like he could work well in both 2D and 3D setting. The wait for another Mario game ended up being another 6 years when we were treated with Super Mario Sunshine on the Nintendo GameCube. The basis of collecting 120 Power Stars was changed to Shine Sprites, but their purpose was the same thing. Instead of melee attacks, you were equipped with the water pump called Flood, and you had to clean up an island that was covered in goo left by a mysterious shadow that looked like Mario himself. Not to mention the game was more vacation-themed too. The idea of using a water pump to attack your foes seemed kind of silly, and it was plagued by some confusing and somewhat poor controls. Many felt that the game was way too unpolished and very sensitive in the gameplay. Despite those problems, the game was met with poor sales and heavy criticism amongst the public. It seemed that Mario's days in 3D were going to be shallow, but that did not stop Shigeru Miyamoto from altering the course and where the 3D Mario games had to go. In 2007, Nintendo finally released the next 3D Mario game in the main Mario franchise, and it would be known as the worthy successor to Super Mario 64. And that game would be known as Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy is the third 3D Mario game in the main franchise, and it is definitely the true sequel to Super Mario 64 in the 3D setting. Coming off of the somewhat lukewarm predecessor from nearly 5 years ago, this game completely revamps what a 3D Mario game should be like. Is this game very outstanding, or does Mario's journey in 3D seem unlikely to continue? Stay tuned and find out as we take a trip across the galaxy and to many planets in the universe. This is Super Mario Galaxy on the Nintendo Wii. Once every century, a bright and shiny comet from the galaxy soars over the Mushroom Kingdom in honor of it passing by. Within its forthcoming are star bits that fall from the sky and grant the Mushroom People with everlasting joy. On the night of the Starbit Festival, Princess Peach of the Mushroom Kingdom sends Mario a letter to present to him a gift in honor of the festival that is happening. Mario gladly comes to the kingdom and enters Toad Town and mingles with the Toad People while on his way to Peach's castle. However, the happiness surrounding them would shortly turn into utter tragedy. Out of nowhere, Bowser appears with his ship fleet to take Peach's castle to the center of the universe and rule everything with the princess submitting to his side. Mario rushes to the castle with grueling haste, and he makes it in time to reach the castle gates before the castle is lifted off into deep space, but is thwarted off by a Magic Koopa before entering inside the place. In thinking that Mario is gone, the Star Child in Peach's clutches rushes toward Mario to try to save him, and the castle disappears. Mario, waking up from the dilemma, finds himself on a planet with the Star Child and his brethren, known as the Lumas. After showing him the ropes of their existence and the presence of their mother, a human named Rosalina, Mario must set out into the many galaxies to save Princess Peach from Bowser's clutches, yet again. Super Mario Galaxy is a 3D platformer game with gravity physics in place. You play as the world's famous video game plumber as he goes through many galaxies this time around. Your hub world is Rosalina's Comet Observatory, where you can gain access to the many different galaxies within the different stations in the place. There is a grand total of 40 galaxies in the game, where nearly 40% of them contain numerous power stars to collect, and 60% of them are one-shot galaxies, meaning they only have one star for you to obtain. What is interesting about this game is that there is a newer star that is more powerful and can increase the power of the observatory, and to unlock new rooms with the new galaxy levels for you to visit. These big power stars are known as the Grand Stars, and Bowser has bigger fish to fry by using their power to help create his galactic empire in the center of the universe. What's even zanier is the fact that there are some power stars that are different colors. Now that I think about it, there are only 3 green power stars and 1 red power star that are different upon the normal yellow color like all the others. The green power stars help you gain access to some of the more complex levels to test your patience and skills. And trust me, they are aggravating. Upon going into the levels, you are treated with many different planets that act as those stages in Super Mario 64, where if you fall and you lose a life. But the biggest innovation is the gravity mechanics. Some of the planets that you're on can make it accessible for you to travel all over the place. A cool thing about the game is that coins are no longer an option for you to obtain all the time. This time around, you have star bits for you to collect. They can be used to shoot enemies, buy items from Hungry Blue Lumas, and to access different planets to complete different objectives with Hungry Pink Lumas. The Hungry Lumas appear in both the levels and Rosalina's observatory to access different planets or galaxies altogether. Another unique element that has returned from past Mario games is the power-ups. Score! You have the traditional Fire Flower suit making a return, but everything else is brand spanking new. You have the Bee suit to help you fly up a temporary distance to other platforms that are hard or soft, the Ice Flower suit to shoot freezing snowballs at your enemies, and to run, glide, and wall jump on the water, the Boo suit to transform Mario into a Boo, and to go through contraptions with invisibility, the Spring suit to make Mario bounce and jump to higher places he can't reach, and the Red Flight suit to act as the game's wing cap from Super Mario 64. Each power-up has a unique purpose when you are on the levels, and it is enough to add to the game's fun factor. Finally, there are prankster comments in this game that give you challenge to obtain different stars that you won't find anywhere else within the levels. They come in 5 different colors, and each of them has a purpose. Cosmic Comets are blue to make you race against your shadowy figure, Fast-Foe Comets are yellow that will make your enemies in the level twice as fast than they already are, Speedster Comets are red to make you go through the level as fast as possible before the timer runs out, and Daredevil comets are white to make you face a boss with only 1 hit point, and you cannot take damage or you lose a life. Finally, there are purple coin comets that are purple to make you find 100 purple coins to obtain a Power Star. This type of feature pays homage to Super Mario 64 and Sunshine in obtaining Power Stars and Shine Sprites with 100 coins. Overall, the concept is vast, and the idea within the objectives are insane, and the many variables give unique purpose as to what they do for Super Mario Galaxy as a whole. However, the main concept is to travel to many different galaxies, collect Power Stars and Grand Stars, make your way to the center of the universe, and to rescue Princess Peach from Bowser once again. The gameplay in Super Mario Galaxy has the best use of the Wiimote and the nunchuck to this date. I'm serious. Here, let's take a look at it in the game, shall we? Moving Mario is easy because you just have to press the control stick on the nunchuck to make Mr. Nintendo move to where he should go. Jumping is easily executed with the A button, and shooting star bits is done with the B button from behind the Wiimote. Collecting star bits is easy as you have to point the cursor at the jumping star bits, and they are automatically collected. A second player can do this too, but if you are playing by yourself, then collecting these items is up to you alone. Mario's new melee attack is the spin attack, and you can perform this ability by shaking the Wiimote. This is useful to take down a Goomba, grabbing Koopa Troopa shells to throw back at your foes, or to easily elevate yourself in the air for a brief period to reach some of those longer jumps than before. Now the power-ups have their own controls based on the ones that I mentioned, but not all of them function in the same way, except for the Fire Flower suit and the Ice Flower suit, but you get the idea. Butt Stomping is back, and you can jump in the air and hit the Z button on the nunchuck to execute that ability. You can even crouch down with the Z button to avoid oncoming debris or to perform long jumps after gaining some momentum from running. Triple jumps and side jumps are back, and they help give you an extra boost with the height of your jump. You can even go back to swimming in this game, and you can use a Koopa Troopa shell to surf underwater with steadfast haste. Now you get the basic idea of what I mean when the controls are flawless. Even the sensitivity is perfect to where the controls aren't that sensitive like in Super Mario Sunshine. If it is a Mario game on the Wii, then the gameplay is perfect. No question.